News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Denise Pellegrini. Sam Altman is fighting back against his sister's sex abuse claims. The OpenAI CEO denying his sister claims that he sexually abused her for almost a decade, and he is now suing Ann Altman for defamation, saying that the accusations caused him emotional pain. The suit also claims Altman's sister is trying to pressure him into unrestricted financial support. She claims the abuse began when she was 3 years old, and the last instance allegedly occurred when he was an adult, but she was still a minor. The Justice Department opening a preliminary probe into the recent surge in egg prices, focusing on whether companies colluded to boost prices or limit supply. Investors this coming week looking ahead to quarterly results from Adobe and Oracle and what they say about their AI strategy. Retailers Dollar General, Williams-Sonoma, and Dick's Sporting Goods also report. We'll see if higher prices are an issue there. Williams-Sonoma, meantime, along with DoorDash, TKO, and Expand Energy will be joining the S&P 500 March 24. Higher close for U.S. stocks yesterday after a fairly solid jobs report, and Fed Chair Jay Powell indicated the Fed is in no hurry to change its interest rate policy.
The economy remains strong, but inflation does not continue to move sustainably toward 2%. We can maintain policy restraint for longer.
Powell to the U.S. Monetary Forum in Chicago. Even so, stocks fell on the week as some investors worried that either President Trump doesn't care if the stock market falls or that all the whipsawing on tariffs will hurt stocks even if Trump does care. Kevin Hassett, director of the White House National Economic Council, interviewed by Bloomberg's Jonathan Farrow, has a different view.
I think in some sense that you've got quite a bit of clarity already. There's no uncertainty. There's going to be some tariff. It's going to be reciprocal. If you don't like tariffs very much, then reciprocal could be a great thing for you because then countries around the world will be lowering their tariffs. But the president believes that if we replace income tax revenue with tariff revenue, it can make everybody better off.
And Hassett is director of the White House National Economic Council. On tariffs, China now says it will impose retaliatory tariffs on imports of rapeseed oil, pork, and seafood from Canada. That'll be effective March 20th. Meantime, Canada's finance minister says the country is ready to begin early talks on reviewing the North American Free Trade Pact if the Trump administration wants to start that process. President Trump has been talking about implementing 25% levies on foreign steel and aluminum this coming week. Tariffs on many goods from Canada, April 2nd. Trump yesterday threatened Canada with tariffs on lumber and dairy. Also on tariffs, President Trump now says India is signaling its readiness to make deeper tariff cuts after he ramped up pressure on the country to lower trade barriers. Cause of death for actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa Hackman has been determined after their bodies were found in their Santa Fe home last week. The New Mexico medical examiner says the 95-year-old Oscar winner died of heart disease and complications of Alzheimer's. Hackman's wife died of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. Pills discovered near her body added to the investigation, but that medication was ruled out as a cause, according to Dr. Heather Jarrell, New Mexico's chief medical officer.
Pills present on scene were thyroid medication, which were being taken as prescribed and is not currently a concern for a contributory cause of death.
New Mexico's chief medical officer, Dr. Heather Jarrell. Arakawa appears to have died about a week before Hackman. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reporting 58 new measles cases, jumping 35% in a week. More on that from Bloomberg's Charlie Pellet.
It is a worrying sign in the outbreak that has already been linked to 2 deaths. According to the CDC, the U.S. now has 222 cases across 12 states since the beginning of the year, and 38 or 17% of those confirmed cases have led to hospitalization. Measles is a highly contagious disease, and according to the CDC, up to 90% of people around a positive case who are not immune will become infected. In New York, Charlie Pellet, Bloomberg Radio.
Thank you, Charlie. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol has been released from prison after a court decision overturning his arrest. He still faces trial for imposing martial law in early December and awaits a verdict from the Constitutional Court on his impeachment. If impeachment is confirmed, a snap election to replace him will follow in 60 days. And in golf, Shane Lowry is atop the leaderboard after round 2 of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. He has a 2-shot lead over Wyndham Clark. Lowry was at 8 under 136, the only player in the field to break 70 both days. Colin Morikawa and Corey Connors, meantime, are one behind Clark. And that's news when you want it. With Bloomberg News Now, I'm Denise Pellegrini, and this is Bloomberg.